Vettel topped the timesheets in practice, but Hamilton took pole and Maldonado got his second front row start. As in 2011, it was 5th place at the Marina Bay circuit for Alonso, and Di Resta was looking to score big points from 6th. Hülkenberg just missed out on the top 10, and Raikkonen was happier with the car but still needed to find more pace. Massa struggled to put together a good lap and found himself in a vulnerable place in the midfield. The Saubers endured a difficult weekend, while the Toro Rossos were sandwiched in between. Senna crashed in Q2 and then joined De La Rosa with a penalty for a new gearbox. It is one of the longest and toughest races of the year, and the safety car has always put in an appearance. Alonso didn't have the best of starts and dropped back to 6th. Maldonado looked to have held his own into turn 1, but that wasn't what Vettel had in mind. Pastor struggled on cold tyres. First Vettel, then the McLaren of Button sailed by. Hamilton looked in control, while Alonso put Di Resta back in his place. Schumacher and Rosberg took each other on. While Webber and Grosjean scrapped over 7th just in front. The scramble at the start left Massa with a puncture. A forced pit stop on the first lap dropped him into last place. The Red Bull mechanics were more than happy to let singer Katy Perry make a pit stop with them.
Now move back so my friend can get a picture.
Back to business, and on lap 12, Hamilton made his first stop from the lead.
This is the prime tyre. Stay left of the white line. You're going to be racing Raikkonen on the way out.
Never mind troubling Lewis, Kimi had his hands full with Vettel. Sebastian had been stuck behind the Lotus since he pitted on lap 10, but this move would leave him second once the first stops were over. And he wasn't the only one on the move.
Okay, big push now, Pastor, big push.
Pastor did what he needed and took 4th from Hülkenberg. Perez passed Alonso in Monza. This time out, it was Fernando who hunted down Sergio. The move elevated him to 6th. Hamilton still led, but Vettel monitored his every move. And even spotted a potential mechanical problem with the McLaren.
Looks like Hamilton's car is losing oil. Hamilton's car is losing oil.
Understood.
Non-E shift. Every single shift.
Understood, Lewis. We're looking into it. Keep going. Pace is good, and we are looking at target stop lap.
The engineers could see from the telemetry that there was a problem, but they were powerless to prevent the inevitable. The victory would have closed the gap to Alonso. Now it looked like Hamilton was out of the running for this year. Lewis had been managing the gap to the Red Bull until his car let him down. Vettel now led. Button made his way through back markers. Maldonado was third. But if he kept treating his tyres like that, then Alonso would gain on him quicker than he might expect. It looked promising for Fernando. He was just 8 seconds behind Vettel. But a mistake from Karthikeyan saw him collide with the wall.
Exit turn 18, I hit the wall, front is broken, front left.
Stop the engine, stop the engine.
The safety car came out while the HRT was removed and gave drivers the chance to save their tyres for a few laps. But there was bad news for Williams. Maldonado had shown some promising speed until a hydraulic problem forced him to park up in the garage. The stricken HRT had been moved and the drivers prepared to get back to racing.
That was very stop-start from Sebastian. Almost drove into the back of him. I know he's got control of the restart, but you know, when someone goes, they go.
Perez had just dropped 2 places. Now Verne was all over him. Until Schumacher was all over the Toro Rosso. After the race, Schumacher confessed to his mistake. Sergio and John-Eric had gone head-to-head, but Michael completely missed the braking zone and smashed into the Toro Rosso and brought out the safety car once again. Lap 40, Webber, Hulkenberg and Perez made use of the safety car to make another stop. While it was a long, hot race for the drivers and mechanics, others found novel ways to stay cool and focus on the action. Having battled from the back, Massa was now all over Senna for 9th. Rob Smedley was not impressed by the Williams tactics. At least Felipe had got him in the end. Before long, Ricciardo was his next victim.
Good lad. That's P8. P8 now.
It might have been just out of the points, but there was still a 4-way battle for 11th. Perez looked for a way past Hulkenberg. That wasn't the best way. 12th placed Webber looked to have the measure of Kobayashi. But in doing so, he put all 4 wheels off the track. Now Kamui took a swipe at the Force India and fell back behind his teammate. Hulkenberg wasn't sure what he'd done wrong. Nico suffered a puncture after contact with the Saubers and had to make a late 3rd stop. But there was no stopping Vettel. He took his 2nd win of the season, nearly 9 seconds ahead of Button.
You beauties, well done. You've won the Singapore Grand Prix again. You're back in this championship, well done. Good man, top job.
Yes! We did it! This one is for you in all the heat, all weekend, and it's for Mr. Watkins up there. Sid Watkins, be remembered forever.
Button was 2nd ahead of Alonso, Di Resta was a career best 4th, Massa staged a good recovery, while Webber was handed a 20-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Glock's 12th place was crucial for Marussia.
We had a good Grand Prix, obviously, compared to yesterday in the last qualifying section. The pace was back and we were able to push the McLarens, push Lewis. throughout the race until he had the problem. I could see it a couple of laps before that with some oil on my visor, but yeah, obviously it's a shame for him to retire. But I think it would have been a tough battle between him and myself. I think the pace was there. I felt happier on the harder compounds. So all in all, a very good weekend fast.
The Ferrari wasn't fastest, but was still in the lead for now.
In front of 3 of our 4 main competitors, we finished in front of Raikkonen, Hamilton and Webber. We only lost points with Vettel, so as I said, after a difficult weekend, only losing points with one of them is I think, a good news, but we need to improve. We were not quick enough and we need to improve this situation.
Ferrari knew they couldn't rely on the misfortunes of others if they were to take the title. Vettel was now second and had high expectations for the final 6 rounds. Red Bull increased their lead in the constructors, while Marussia overtook Caterham in their closely fought battle for 10th.